The ultimate deception. You don't know this. You don't understand this. You have not been told this, and you have not been taught this. Nonetheless, this is the truth. To the point, we have all been lied to. We have been lied to from birth to death and throughout all the years in between. We've been lied to from the government, lied to from the news and media, and we have been lied to from our schools and education system. And these lies have been perpetrated upon us by each other, by friends, by family, by churches, by loved ones. The lies go so deep through all of us that almost none of us know where the truth actually stands. The two biggest lies we have been told out of the avalanche of lies we are drowning in are the following. First is the understanding of the psychopath infestation of the human race and our societies. Conservative numbers state that 6% of all humans are born genetic psychopaths. A psychopath is an intra-species predator that uses charm, manipulation, and/or violence to satisfy their own selfish needs. A predator subspecies of the human being, which for whatever reason has decided to prey upon the rest of humanity. The psychopath is totally without conscience and devoid of human empathy, emotion, respect, and caring. It doesn't feel pity, remorse, or fear, and it cannot change what it is. Above all, we're dealing with a soulless being and negative predatory consciousness. This predator can be anyone and everyone, from a friend to foe, family member, neighbor, manager, co-worker, politician, CEO, law enforcer, soldier, doctor, clergyman, actor, athlete, musician, celebrity, president, lover to passerby, and so forth. The psychopath often looks like a normal and upright individual, and not as a disheveled, raving lunatic. They wear a mask of humanity, a proverbial wolf in sheep's clothing, and they number in the tens of millions globally, 2 to 3 million in North America alone. Moreover, the elite, high-functioning psychopath is a psychopath that can keep its antisocial and highly active criminal activities undercover, off the radar of most people and the law, and has climbed society's social ladder into positions of power, authority, respect, and reproach. This is the most dangerous of all the psychopaths, for they have the ability and power to affect many, if not millions, of humans at any given time. And they are typically protected by the positions they hold, by the very humans they are preying upon. Moreover, they have created a system of society control and are at the top of the pyramid. They have the stewardship of all major branches of our social control structures. The second lie we have been told is the tool that the psychopaths use to control, use, destroy, deceive, imprison, and murder their prey, being you, me, we, us. It is the tool of so-called law. The law of the sea, Maritime Admiralty Law, Uniform Commercial Code, UCC, Corporate Code to be exact. It is the false law that has been laid over and usurped our American Constitution. The law of the land, common law, human and property rights centered, just law. The United States is a corporation, period. It is governed by UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, Corporate Commerce, Banking, Maritime, Admiralty, Law of the Sea, not Law of the Land. The Constitution for the United States of America, the supreme law of the land, is not recognized and does not have any jurisdiction or authority over the United States Corporation. The Constitution we Americans hold so very dear has no say in the affairs of or over this corporation, because the Constitution is the law of the land and not the law of the sea, not law of commerce, not law of banking, period. Long ago, way back before any of us was born, in the year of 1871, the Congress of the United States, under no constitutional authority to do so, created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., which is a 10-mile parcel of land. This action was named the Act of 1871, which in fact created and formed a new corporation called the United States, all capital letters. This corporation of ultimate deception and trickery was created by the most psychopathic, evil, power-hungry, greedy, humanity-enslaving men of our recent history. They stole and destroyed our American birthrights. They perverted, blackened, infested, and torn asunder our great nation. A great nation that was based on equal rights for all people. We are all living in a dual reality. To fully understand and see the big picture of this deception that we are all being oppressed by, we must learn the following simple facts. There are two kinds of law. First, the law of the land, the law of the people, the law of the culture, civil law, common law. And secondly, the law of the sea, maritime admiralty law, banking law, commerce law, uniform commercial code, corporate code. Next, there are two kinds of courts. First, common, civil, and constitutional law courts. And secondly, maritime admiralty corporate uniform commercial code courts. Thirdly, there are also two of you. First, private you, the one God and your parents created, upper and lowercase name and spelling. And secondly, the public you, how you do business, people's lives and money, all capital letters name. And fourthly, there are two kinds of government. First, constitutional law of the land, common law, government. And second, there is corporate government, maritime admiralty corporate uniform commercial code rules government. Now that you have the facts, here is what is going on. Everything you see, hear, read, and are told by our so-called government and our so-called news media must be filtered with eyes that see and understand this information. When you see attacks on our rights, say for example our right to keep and bear arms, this attack is not coming from the authority of our Constitution. It is coming from a top-down corporate order or rule that the corporation wants to be enforced on its corporate employees, you and me. 99% of all so-called laws are just rules and codes that are being enforced by the corporation, United States Corporation. and its corporate attack dogs, or hallway monitors, or cops, or courts. These unconstitutional codes or rules and false laws do not need to be obeyed by sovereign peoples. 99% of all these fraud rules do not apply to you and me. We must acquiesce and volunteer into their jurisdiction. Do you get this? We must stop playing the corporate code game, and there will be no more game. We must have a mass non-compliance with this evil lie and takeover. We must reclaim our living birthright of human freedom. And we must understand what and how this ultimate deception is being played on us all. Every day we operate in this corporate system, we are feeding the beast that enslaves us. Every interaction we have with the system bonds us tighter to it. Common law is based on God's law, or the Creator's law, or the universe's law. Anytime someone is charged under a common law, there must be a damaged party. You are free under the common law to do anything you please, as long as you do not infringe on the life, liberty, or property of someone else. There is not one law in the whole damn earth that governs you, other than you shall not damage another person or their property. You have the right to do anything you please, go anywhere you wish, do anything you want. You are a creature of the earth, and as all creatures have inborn, unalienable rights to life, freedom, property, possessions, love, food, air, reproduction, speech, beliefs, creativity. You have to give up your rights, or not know that you even have these rights to be enslaved. The corporate government that runs the United States since 1871 is an illegal, unconstitutional, unhuman, unholy abomination. An elite group of psychopaths who are attracted to positions of power and authority came up with the ultimate plan: take over a new country as it's being formed. President Lincoln began the deception. The Civil War was not fought over the right for slaves to be free. That is what they tell you in their schools, in their media, in their movies, in their shows, in their statements, in their history. President Lincoln was put into power to squash states' rights. Each state in America before the Civil War was an independent nation. The Constitution was the supreme law of the land that these other nations had to abide by, but they had their own rights. And even then, states do not have rights. Inanimate objects do not have rights. Only human beings and living creatures have rights. We grant states and governments privileges or permissions. And that is exactly what the Constitution and Bill of Rights is. It is a statement of privileges and permissions to the government that we, the people, created. It serves us. We made it. There is a hierarchy and a chain of command. But during the Act of 1871, when the Congress illegally turned our country into a giant corporation and renamed all of the American people into citizens, which meant employees, then began our bondage and the ultimate deception. No one is bound to obey an unconstitutional law, and no courts are bound to enforce it. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. The general rule is that unconstitutional statute, though having the form and name of law, is in reality no law, but is wholly void and ineffective for any purpose. The general misconception is that any statute passed by legislators bearing the appearance of law constitutes the law of the land. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. Necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedom. It is the argument of tyrants. It is the creed of slaves. We the people have unalienable natural rights. Natural rights are those rights such as life from conception, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, freedom of religion, speech, learning, travel, self-defense, to eat, to breathe, to procreate, to survive. Hence, laws and statutes which violate natural rights, though they have the color of law, are not law but impostors. The U.S. Constitution was written to protect these natural rights from being tampered with by legislators. The only job of any proper government is the protection of private property. No body, no crime. A license or permit often becomes an arbitrary control by government that makes a crime out of what ordinarily would not be a crime. It turns a right into a privilege. The people are the masters of both the Congress and courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow those who pervert it. Our Constitution, our law of the land, has been usurped by psychopathic, corporate double-dealing, backstabbing liars, thieves, and murderers. They hijacked or usurped the Constitution with their takeover of the United States in 1871. They then began to spread a lie and teach a level of ignorance to the mass of people beyond comprehension. Americans are so in the dark of our true history and our true Constitution and our true government, we do not understand anything. We are believers. We are told what to do, what to think, what to say. We watch our TV, which is owned by psychopaths, programmed by psychopaths, managed by psychopaths. And it's not so much that all these psychopaths are in one giant team-up against humans. It just so happens that they are attracted to positions of power over other people and other humans. And what you have is 200 years of psychopaths enlisting and promoting other psychopaths into positions of power and authority. And what you have is a horde of psychopaths pieing and greedily gnawing at humanity's ankles and spinal column. They are in league together, but not so much as you might think. There is disruption amongst their ranks, but sadly, because of these control mechanisms, the bigger psychopaths at the top see the bigger picture of what they're doing and what they want and how they get the control that they need. And so they put other psychopaths in positions. Obama is a massive psychopath. But what is Obama? He is not the constitutional president of the United States. All he is the president/CEO of a corporation, a chosen spokesman for the corporation. The Congress is nothing more than board members of the corporation. Our entire government is nothing more than a corporate government, again, operating unconstitutionally. Even though they have overlaid a false government over our proper constitutional American government, even though they have made hundreds or thousands of bad codes, all of them are repugnant. All of them are lies. All of them are evil. You do not need to obey one bad law because it's the first or the last or the third. When you have a pile of bad codes or rules or laws or whatever you want to call them, given down by illegitimate corporate government, you do not have to obey or follow any of them. If you don't know your rights, you don't have any. And they have taken that to the 10th degree. They comprehend that. They keep us ignorant. They keep us uneducated. They keep us unlearned. They keep us distracted. They keep us at a 5th grade mentality. They keep us busy on the farm working to pay our taxes. Taxes on everything, your life, your death, your labor. All of it unconstitutional. All of it pure evil. All of it pure deception from psychopaths. In closing, I would like to add, this is such an important time and important information for us, you, me, humanity. America is or was one of the greatest nations or ideas that humans have had in our recorded history. Our country, our nation, was formed under the idea that everybody was a king and queen here in America. That we had rights given to us by a higher power, a God, a creator, the universe. That no government, no king could step on or trample or abuse or take advantage of any of us. It has been said of America, the poorest man may in his cottage bid defiance to all the forces of the crown. It may be frail, its roof may shake, the wind may blow through it, the storm may enter, the rain may enter, but the King of England may not enter, and all his forces dare not cross the threshold of the ruined tenement. Here in America, we have something that the rest of the world does not. The people, when they came here and formed this nation, this country, did so that we would all be kings and queens here in our country. But the psychopaths who pie for power and authority and manipulation and money and greed and whatever else satisfies the psychopathic mind, they deceived, tricked, lied, and have stolen and destroyed our birthrights here in America. They have turned us into pathetic 5th graders whose only goal in life is to consume and earn money and pay taxes and support wars and enforce bad codes on each other. We are free humans, no matter where we live on this planet. Just because there is oppression and tyranny doesn't make it just or right. And yes, you may have to defend yourself. And yes, you may have to stand up for your rights. And yes, you may have to die for your rights. But it has been that way, sadly, since as far as we can remember back. Humans have always been horrible to each other. At least a small percentage. The psychopaths among us, the 6% conservatively born genetic psychopaths, for whatever reason, have always been there with us. My best guess is that the genetic psychopath has been with us for hundreds of thousands of years. Back 100,000, 500,000 years ago, it may have been beneficial for some humans to be able to do anything to survive. Life used to be very hard for humanity, way more so than it is today. People lived very short, hard lives in the plains or savannas of Africa or wherever humans may be roaming or living. There was much danger from disease and predation from animals. So it makes sense on some level that a few humans would be born with a will to survive and dominate no matter what, and with all means necessary. Sadly, that genetic aberration of the psychopath is still with us today. And 2 to 3 million Americans are born psychopaths, with a deep psychotic hunger, born deep within their DNA and their minds to have power and authority and control over other human beings. The more things change, the more they stay the same. We are dealing with an old problem on a much bigger scale. No more do we live in tiny villages or small clans where we can weed out or remove psychopaths from our ranks. We have societies built in megacities holding millions of people. Megacities themselves are inherent with problems just by their very design and very existence. The human being does much better and thrives much more harmoniously in smaller clan or villages. So here we are, humanity, modern day, modern time, living in a control grid of uniform commercial code, rules and codes put over us to make us into good employees, make you drive a certain way, make you dress a certain way, make you act a certain way, make you do certain drugs, their drugs, not natural drugs, make you obey their laws, not natural laws. They turn the whole thing upside down. We must stop participating in their game. We cannot beg, we cannot plead, we cannot supplicate on our knees enough to these psychopathic commercial code enforcers. We will lose every time. We were born into bondage, born into slavery, born into a prison that we are not informed about, born into a lie that they have not told us about. We must become educated, we must stand tall, we must stand strong, we must become the heroes that refuse to be slaves, that refuse to submit to an unholy, evil, psychopathic rule. The choice is yours. And I say, give them nothing, but take from them everything.